Hey everybody, this is Tanner Gallant, joined by my brother Thomas. Today, our special guest is Nova Scotia's very own Colin Campbell. Colin, how you doing today?
Good, how are you guys?
Pretty good. And just where to give some people some background, where are you kind of located right now?
I'm in Cape Breton. I'm just home for the summer working.
When did you get back?
May 7th, I think, or yeah, around that, 6th or 7th.
A few weeks ago now.
Yeah, it's pretty late actually for
Yeah,
compared to the last 2 years.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I guess before we get into talking about your time with the Glasgow Clan this season, let's talk about your journey a little bit before you made the pros. You started off in the MHL with Yarmouth, where you had some great years personally, and you guys had some great playoff runs. So playing a top role in Yarmouth compared to maybe playing a lesser role on a Q team, did that help you grow more as a player, knowing that you had the opportunity to be that go-to guy?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I got my identity as a player. Like you said, if I was in St. John at the time, they won the league 2 years in a row. I think I would have been playing minimal minutes and kind of a role guy as compared to where I went to Yarmouth. I was playing top minutes and I got to be in every situation, whether it was power play, penalty kill. And I think that was just really good for my growth as a player, and my confidence really. And I had good coaching there as well with Laurie Barron. And yeah, we had good teams and I got to be a big part of it. So I definitely credit a lot of that to my growth as a player.
And you played 6 games with St. John, right? So when you went back down to Yarmouth, was it most guys would kind of say, kind of get down on themselves? What was kind of your attitude when you went back down to Yarmouth?
Well, it was it was easy to swallow getting sent down because looking at their roster, it was even going in, it was very unlikely that I'd be there. But I mean, I was young and naive, and I wanted to give it a chance or give it a try. And yeah, they had Jorg Gallant and Mike Kelly were the coaches there at the time. So even if it was just a brief period of being there, I still learned a lot. And yeah, like I said, going down to a good team in Yarmouth, and that was a great place to play as well. It made things a lot easier.
So at what time of your career did you know that you wanted to kind of play pro hockey? Was it, when you're in the MHL, or was it when you went to university that you knew, hey, I have a chance of actually making a run at this?
That's a good question. In junior, I wanted to. I didn't know how likely it would be, and then when I got to school and had a few good years, I started to realize that it might be realistic. But I was doing a lot of school when I was there, and I kind of went through a year. I think it was my fourth year before graduating. I wasn't sure, like, do I take this degree and start real life, or do I go overseas and play and see a bit of the world? So that's why I went back for a fifth year. I minored in psychology and just kind of took that year to play another year of hockey there because the hockey is phenomenal, probably one of the most underrated leagues in Canada. And I just took that year to kind of think about what it was I wanted to do. And then, I mean, all my close friends and family kind of said, listen, go over. If you don't like it, you can come home and start work then. But if you don't go, like, you can't change your mind in a
Yeah.
couple of years and just lace them back up. So yeah, I'm really happy that I got that advice because I've been having a blast over there, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
So how's that transition? Like you played close to home, same province, and then you go to university, you leave, and you're playing pro, you're going overseas. What's that transition like for you?
It was a first year was a big shock. Um, yeah, like I had no idea what to expect going to Hungary. I had family who visited there and just told me like the country was beautiful, and that was like a big part of my decision, knowing that the country was nice. But I had no clue like the
Yeah.
caliber of hockey or what, and I was like pleasantly surprised when I got there, at how competitive the league was. But yeah, it was, I think, probably a month or two transition hockey wise was it was tough because the width of the rinks there, it's so much bigger. Like some of them are Olympic size, no rink is really the same size. And it was kind of just, it was hard to get used to, like, the style of play. I was just wasting so much energy. And yeah, I'd say a month or two into the season, I kind of figured out how to play that style and started settling in nicely.
And
Yeah.
like,
Oh, go ahead, Thomas.
so like when you have that bigger ice, did that you learn how you have to pace yourself, of course, but did you find that maybe that did it help your playing style a little bit, or did you have to just kind of adjust?
It was just more so like realizing that a lot of the play that matters is still between the dots. That extra space outside the dots is not as important. And I think I was just wasting so much energy trying to use my speed when guys were just kind of boxing me to the outside. And once I figured out how to kind of get in those open areas and use my speed, I was able to use it to my advantage big time.
And I imagine they were expecting when you went over there to Hungary, I imagine they were expecting a lot of goals, because you actually, I don't know if you know this, but you actually had to, like, well, it says online you have the most goals in university, the school you went to. You have the most goals in the men's hockey program.
Yeah, I think it was one of the last games I got it. I took a one-timer off the foot and it went in the net. That's how I ended up getting it.
Yeah.
So when you kind of went over to Hungary, was it kind of like how did that process go through? Did they kind of reach out to you, or were you kind of actively searching on your last years of university, or how did that process go through?
Yeah, my last 2 years of school, I guess, fourth year, it was the same thing, but it was mostly just agents would reach out to me, ask me if I wanted to play, and then I ended up signing with one, and then they took care of the rest. Just kind of bring me a few options to the table, and then I decided which one suited me the best, and yeah, I ended up there in Hungary. And I knew of, like, mutual friends, I guess, people that have been in that organization before, and I heard a lot of good things about it. So it was just comforting going there, knowing that, like, I'd be taken care of by the organization. So.
And I guess another thing is when you're going overseas like that, there's probably a handful of North American guys and probably just a handful that even know English. When you're trying to build line chemistry, because everybody talks about chemistry, kind of how do you build that on a team?
Yeah, this year was different, obviously.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal being there, and everyone just speaks English. But Hungary was hilarious. Like, there was 4 of us imports, yeah, and then maybe 3 or 4 kids that could speak, like, good English,
yeah,
and hold a conversation. So my 2 line mates couldn't speak, like, a lick of English, so communicating with them for the first, like, 3 or 4 months was impossible. I'd say something, they'd, like, nod their head, and then we'd go out and they'd just completely not listen.
Yeah.
But coming around the end of the year, I kind of got, like, a understanding of, I'd get one of the Hungarian kids to kind of, like, translate for me.
Yeah.
So it took a while to gel, and looking back, it was quite funny, but yeah, I figured it out after a while, and we had a good run actually down the end of the season there. So
then after that, you made the skip over to France. How was the comparison in hockey there? Was it a step up, or was it similar?
A lot of people have asked me that, actually, and it's tough. The top teams in Hungary are, like, very, very good. And then there's a bit of a drop off after, like, 4 to 10. Whereas in France, the top 3 are a lot better than any of the teams in Hungary. And then from, like, 4 to 10, it's everyone's pretty even. But I'd say on average, France is definitely a better league. But that was it was very fast, a lot of skill, not much like physical play compared to this year in the UK, where it was very North American like hockey.
So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about signing with Glasgow. So maybe what was some of the key factors in making the move to go over there?
Kind of the same thing. Actually, I've always wanted to play in the UK. That was like my goal leaving school. It just never worked out. And then same thing. I knew a few people who played in Glasgow before, or just players that played in the elite league, and again heard a lot of great things about Glasgow. And then Mike Malcolm, the coach, he's actually from Nova Scotia as well, and I played against him when I was in Hungary. So a lot of things just lined up, and the season there started quite late for us because it is signing a deal for rights to the rink or something like that. So we didn't start till October, but yeah, I was in a bit of a panic late summer, and then yeah, that all fell into place really quickly actually, and the deal was done within a week or two.
So I know you just mentioned your coach, Malcolm Cameron. You know, you said your paths have crossed before in Hungary. So what type of coach is he? And kind of like as a Nova Scotia guy, we kind of like to know what does he bring to the team.
He's very intense. He wants to win like very badly. So when you're winning, it's good. But when you're losing, it's tough. He gets pretty hard on you, but I mean, most coaches do. It's not if you lose and you give a good effort. We've had many games this year where we've lost in overtime or tight games where we've played very well, and he's okay with that. It's just if it's a lackluster effort, it's not acceptable to him, and I mean that's a good thing. It's something you want as much as it might suck coming to the rink after a big loss. It gives you some accountability, and yeah, I think he just asked for consistency and hard work, and nothing too crazy, which is good.
Yeah, watching some of his interviews, we've seen them on Twitter and stuff. He comes off as like he wants his guys to have that reputation of hardworking, blue collar mentality.
Yeah. He's well, our team this year we had like a very gritty team, and he wanted to be hard to play against.
Yeah.
And I mean, just what you see in the interviews is for the most part what you'll see in the room. I mean, with the exception of maybe a couple words, but yeah, he's pretty he's open with the media. Like he's honest with them, and if we play bad, he'll let them know, and if we play good and don't win, he'll still stick his neck out for us. But yeah, he became quite famous over there for his interviews this year. Some of the quotes. Yeah, it was interesting to see. But yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, he just wants max effort, and I mean, at the professional level, that's something you should be given anyway. So yeah.
You kind of played, like, did you play kind of up and down the lineup this year? Did you play power play, penalty kill, and all that, or?
Yeah, it was a frustrating year for me. I mean, I've had slumps before, but I've always kind of found ways to get out of them. I had a pretty good start this year, points wise and power play, and then I don't really know. I don't have many answers, but I stopped putting the puck. I stopped putting points up. So I think the team, we weren't playing well at the time either. So I was doing like whatever I could to add some sort of value, whether it was block more shots, kill penalties. I was killing penalties for a bit, and yeah, it was just a roller coaster. I'd have a few good games and then a few bad games, and yeah, I was anywhere from second, third line to playing 24 minutes to 10 minutes. It was kind of I was very inconsistent, and yeah, it was really frustrating. And I was disappointed in myself. I hope I get a chance maybe to go back there next year and just prove myself, because I definitely know that I have it in me to be a better player in that league.
Yeah, it's, you know, you guys going through the season though, you guys did end up losing to the eventual champions of the Cardiff Devils in the first round. You know, you upsetted them in the first game by 1 goal. You know, what message do you kind of go in the locker room heading into the final match against them?
It, it was just really that there was no real pressure on us. I mean, those top 3 teams or top 4. I think Nottingham was kind of disappointed in their year, but they're usually they have the big budgets and they're expected to win. We went in there and we gave up a late goal in that first game, which was costly because it's on aggregate, which kind of sucks. I'd rather just play it 2 out of 3. But yeah, going into the last game, we knew it would be a packed house, and we had the 1 goal lead, and it was kind of just play the way we've been playing all year, and there's no pressure on us. The pressure is all on them, and it was 12 minutes left. They scored on the power play, and then they scored off the rush with 1.5 or 2 minutes left, and that's the difference between teams that win. They find ways, and Cardiff did the same thing in the semifinals. I think they scored with 1 minute left, and they found a way to beat Belfast, who is by far the best team all year. So
yeah,
it was disappointing at the time, but looking back, I mean, the season we had with just starting late in our schedule and all that, we had a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, it's fine. I find it funny that you mentioned that you didn't prefer the aggregate style, because that's more of a soccer type thing than a hockey thing.
Yeah.
So I find it's interesting that some leagues do that, but I get it. It's in the UK, so it's going to be a little different, but I just thought it was interesting. But
yeah.
So yeah, you know, you kind of already did already, but we already talked kind of about your season in Glasgow, but you know, we have a lot of fans from the EIHL that follow our pages, and we're just always so surprised how dedicated that fan base is. And I just wanted to talk about kind of like what the fan base is like there in Glasgow.
It is wild. It's like the best way to put it. I knew that fans there were good, but I was just like, I didn't expect how passionate they would be. I mean, when you're losing, like you don't really want to go on Twitter or anything, because they will let you know how bad you are, and rightfully so. I mean, they're paying good money to watch us play and spending on jerseys and all that. So I mean, they're allowed to have their own opinion, but when we're winning as well, it's they put us on a pedestal. Like we had a Cardiff, I think, is 10 hours, and then over to Guildford for 2. And then we went back for a Sunday afternoon game at home, and they filled up 2 buses.
Oh, wow.
And traveled to both games. And, like the game in Cardiff, we won like the first playoff game. We came out and they had flares and fireworks and dancing, hitting drums. Like we left before they left. They're amazing. It's an awesome fan base.
It's almost like that soccer style.
Yeah.
In the hockey area.
It's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they look like they were having quite the time in Cardiff once they won the championship. I saw some of the videos, and they look like they were partying pretty hard.
I mean, there's a couple teams like Manchester. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that like the fans are just crazy. It's good to see.
I just, based off of like some of the fans I follow or like their stuff, I get a lot of like my feed filling up with EIHL fans, and there's just a lot of banter back and forth between all the teams. It's, like one of our fans this year, we were playing Belfast at home, and like I was saying, they were so good this year, like top to bottom. He tweeted that if we beat them, he would get a tattoo of our coach, and we ended up beating them. So he has to get a tattoo of our coach now.
You better make sure he follows up on that.
Yeah, people have been on him pretty bad. I think he has like the design. It's something from one of his quotes. It's like him juggling or something like that. But yeah, they love the team, and it's awesome. It makes it a lot of fun being over there, actually.
So I guess, well, we kind of already covered it, but I mean, how would you describe your time with the Clan? Kind of comparing your hockey career, kind of where would it be at?
Oh, just great experience. It would have been nice to be there in like a normal season. Like we didn't play Challenge Cup and stuff like that, and the schedule was very compacted for us. Then COVID, obviously, we played quite a few games behind closed doors, but got a pretty good taste of just how good the fans are. The rink there is awesome, and the city's really nice. Everything really, like, I enjoyed it all. It was just it was very draining this year, just so many games and travel in such a short period of time. But yeah, see what next year brings. But yeah, it was definitely my favorite year overseas so far.
And I know you probably can't say, but I'll try to word it properly. Is there a chance that you could be back with the Clan next year? Because I don't think you don't have a contract yet, right? So
yeah, no, I don't. I would give you an answer if I had one. I mean, this is where the business side of things takes over. I just kind of sit around and wait and see what he does. I would like to say yeah if I had a better year, but I'm not quite sure, just based off of how I played last year. But I'd love to be back, but we'll have to see. I have no idea.
I just got one more question, and then I don't know if you have any more, Thomas, but I'm just curious because with, over here in North America, we still have the NHL going on. Do you still follow quite a bit of NHL, or do you not even bother with it much anymore?
Like the whole year,
or just the playoffs more right now?
Well, actually, this year we'd practice at 10 every morning. We'd have like just the 8-minute highlights up on YouTube every morning. So that was basically the extent of that. But first round, I watch everything, but I'm fishing now, so I'm up at 2:30 every morning. So I don't have it in me to. I watched like the first 2 periods of the Pens game 7 and went to bed, and I woke up the next day. I was like, why did I watch that? Like, just go to sleep.
Dreading it the next day.
Yeah, but it's like there's the Battle of Alberta and then the Tampa Florida series this round, and I'm gonna miss all that. So
yeah,
I can watch a Saturday night game. So I guess I'll settle for that.
What do you work? Do you work like Monday to Friday type thing, or
Monday, Saturday? We
Saturday.
take Sundays off. Yeah.
Sundays off. So. Yeah. So who's your prediction to win the cup?
A guy I work with asked me that today, and I have no idea. It's one of those years where, I mean, I don't think Edmonton can win. I haven't really watched enough, but I'd love to see Colorado win. Just McKinnon. I feel like he deserves it. And there's a handful of teams who could win it this year.
Yeah, I think people are sleeping on Carolina too.
Yeah, they're very good this year as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't expect Florida to get rolled over last night like that. I didn't watch the game. Maybe it was closer than it looked, but
I couldn't watch it. I was working, but
yeah, it was pretty close until like 6 minutes or so. It was 2-1 until like 6 minutes left. So
yeah, I saw the Avs game went to overtime, but like I think they had like 57 shots or something crazy like that.
Yeah. All right. So just Thomas, do you have any other questions? Sorry.
No, I'm good. No.
So first thing, Colin, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it when somebody takes time out of their day to come on and speak with us. So just the other thing I want to mention is anybody that's not following us, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for any coverage on the Maritimers. And like I said, Colin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.